All right, so good to see you, Lynette. Thank you for all of you that are joining me on Facebook Live as well. I'm still getting used to how this works. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Miss Barbara, all the way from Germany, Wismar, Germany. Es ist gut, dir zu sehen, oder Sie zu sehen. So, mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut, es ist ein bisschen schlecht, aber ich kann nur ein bisschen reden. So let's get into what we're talking about today. I want to talk about how to get unstuck. Some of you are stuck. You're in the same place where you were last year, the year before that. You're talking about what you want to do and how you want to change things, and nothing's getting done. And I have to really be honest. Today, you're going to see me in a little bit rare form because we just have to have some real talk time. It is impossible for us to really deal with some things and some issues and some circumstances unless we get to the heart of some things. And I can't talk around it. I can't just give innuendo. I can't give shade. I know that's the new word, shade now. But I really just want to talk directly to some people who are stuck. You're stuck. You're stuck. And I want to talk about how to get unstuck. One of the things that I do in my professional capacity is that I counsel people on how to go from a vision to a manifestation. The workshops that I do, I'm an independent consultant, and one of the key aspects of the workshops that I do as I'm hired to go and speak at places is that I talk about goal setting. Goal setting is, people think they're setting goals and they're not. They think that they have goals and they don't. They have dreams, they have aspirations. Certainly they have a wish, a desire, a want to do better, be better, whatever that means. But they don't really know how to set goals. So we're going to talk about two things today. One, we're going to talk about how you can, hey, what's up, Judson? We're going to talk about how you can, and excuse me, y'all, because I know people are coming in and I may not acknowledge everyone, but help me, y'all, because I want to really get this out. So let's get to it. Two things I want to talk about today. First of all, I want to talk about the difference between dreams and goals, because there's a difference. People use them interchangeably, but there's a difference. Secondly, I want to talk about how to set what's called SMART goals. SMART goals. There's an acronym for SMART, and I'm going to get into that later. And then last, I know I said two things. And lastly, I want to get into how it is you take the tangible steps to go from the goals to actually coming into manifestation. For those of you that watched my broadcast yesterday, I explained that manifestation comes from a Latin word from which we get the word manifesto. It means literally to take with a hidden hand something from the unseen realm to the seen realm. I talked to you about the book of Hebrews where it said, I think it's in chapter 11, verse 6, that we understand that the world, I think it's either 2 or 3. We understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God so that everything we see was made of things that are not visible. So what does that mean? Tangibly, it means that everything that is first starts in an unseen realm. And part of manifestation is bringing it from the unseen to the seen realm. So let's get right to it. Number one, difference between dreams and goals. I'm going to try to talk a little slower. I have a problem. I get excited and I start talking quickly. Please take notes. I take notes. I'm a big advocate of writing things down. Write the vision, make it plain, make it clear. When I do these classes, I tell people to write things down. I am going to start. I want to give you a heads up. I am going to begin doing the classes that I'm doing live. And the workshops that I'm doing in New York, I'm going to begin doing them online. And I'm going to start streaming those things. Now, what you're getting now is free. When people hire me to come speak, I say this respectfully, but I don't do it for free because I believe that people have to have an investment. There has to be an investment. My grandfather, who was an entrepreneur, once told me free clients are a lot of times the hardest ones. And what does that mean? We don't respect what we don't pay for. So I am going to give some of this to you right now for free. And some of you that's been following me, and I do appreciate that. Good for you. But as I begin to do the classes, this is not a class. I'm just kind of sharing some things with you. I encourage you to write it down. I'm giving you what people have been paying for. I'm giving you a snippet of it. But when I begin to roll out the online classes as we're rolling them out, there will be a cost. There will be. Because there has to be. The most valuable thing in the world when we talk about things, not people, but the most valuable thing is information and instruction. And that's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you the tangible tips to how to get unstuck. So before I even get into dreams versus goals and how to set SMART goals, thank you everybody again. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, Periscope Live. Please share my video and share what we're doing. Notes, yes, please take notes. Lynette said that over on Periscope. Take notes. Let me say this. I want to speak right to the elephant in the room. I know somebody's probably saying, well, wait a minute, you just got out of prison, federal prison earlier this year. What can you tell me about setting goals? I'm glad you said it. Let me tell you a quick story. I'm not big into prison stories, but I think this is important here, so I will share this here. I was released January 23rd, 2018. I served 40 months. 2 weeks before I was due to be released, I was like standing around and I guess I was in a haze. This guy walks up to me. He says, "What's wrong, Daryl?" I said, "I just got a lot on my mind." He said, "Your time's coming. You look like you're stressed." I said, "I am." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because, everything's going to be changed. Everything's going to be different. All the people that knew me and, they've moved on with their lives and everything's just going to be different. And I don't know how to really navigate in this world. It's been 3.5 years." And he said to me, this was a guy who's been in and out, in and out, in and out. And he said to me, he said, "Daryl, it's not even going to be like that." He said, "Everybody that you left, 90% of them are going to be right where you left them." And you know what I found when I got out is that that's the truth. So many people at the same place, people who were struggling starting their business in 2014, still struggling in 2018. Same business, same problem, same income, no change. People who were talking about they were going to go to law school in 2014, by this point they could have graduated, because it's only 3 years to go to law school, had the bar, gotten into the bar. Heck, you could have had a full-time law position at this point, haven't even applied. I found that people were in the same place. This is what solidified it. I went to my old barbershop and I noticed the same two barbers were in the same two chairs. It was 5 chairs. The same 3 were empty. There was no growth. So it's still sparsely populated. The same 2 barbers were in the same 2 chairs that they were in. It was like a time warp. And that's when I came to the realization. And then when I got hired to begin, doing these speaking engagements and begin doing these workshops, I really realized there's a need. People are stuck. They're in the same place. Now, I was for 40 months in federal prison. I was in the same place where El Chapo was. I had an excuse. What's yours? You've been talking about this goal, this dream, this thing that you want to get off the ground. It's a business that God has birthed in your heart, and you've done nothing about it. You've done absolutely nothing. And you've blamed the devil. You've blamed circumstances. You've blamed racism. You've blamed misogyny. You've blamed haters. That's my favorite. You blame all these things, but the problem is not all this other stuff. It's you. Because we got to have real talk. Because you have not done what you're supposed to do. God has given you a vision, so why is it still a vision? Why haven't you moved toward it? You say that there's something in your heart to do, but why aren't you doing it? So, in 7 months, or 8 months, so January 23rd release. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So 8 months, I am making more money than I ever made before. I don't say this to brag, but I want you to understand what's happening here. I've been promoted several times at several of the positions, one of the main positions that I hold. I have several streams of income. I'm in my own apartment that not just that I'm contributing to. This is where I live. I have my own apartment, and I've just bounced back. One, by the grace of God, but also by His grace, He's given me opportunities, and I've seized it. So you might want to listen to me because I got out of prison, and now in 8 months, I've done more than what some of you've been doing for 8 years. So I wanted to say that because that's actually a selling point, and I don't hide from it. It is a selling point. I have the blueprint. I can show you how to get unstuck. I can show you how to stop talking about the stuff you're going to do and wearying your wife, your husband, your friend, your mate, whoever it is, wearying them with this incessant loquaciousness about what you're going to do and have not taken any steps. So let's get to it. How do you get unstuck? First of all, there's a difference between dreams and goals. Please write this down. I really need you to write this down. There is a difference between dreams and goals. Dreams are visions. Dreams give power, but goals give focus. Dreams give power, but goals give focus. I had somebody come to me and say, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's my goal. I said, no, ma'am, that's not a goal. That's a dream. It's powerful. It's a dream, but it's not a goal. They got upset with me. Said, how can you tell me what my goal is? I said, a goal is not subjective. They said, well, a goal is what I think it is. No, it's not. You can't look at a dog and say, I think it's a cat. No, a dog is a dog, a cat is a cat. It's not up for discussion. Now, what your vision might be is subjective, perhaps. But the definition of a vision is objective, and the definition of a goal is objective. And so part of what I try to help people to do, and in my workshops, I'm going to be honest, I give it to them with the bark off. I don't have time to play around because people are in real serious situations. Some of the people that do my workshops are people who've been formerly incarcerated. Some of them are people who have never been incarcerated, but they're stuck. Some are business professionals and they have all these degrees, all these licenses, all these, letters behind their name, but they don't know how to get off the ground. Some people are fresh budding entrepreneurs. I have all types of people that come to my workshops, and I am very adamant about saying we've got to get to the heart of some things. So people don't like to hear about themselves, and that's why they're stuck. So I'm going to tell you there is a difference between a goal and a dream. So let's start with a dream. A dream is a vision. We already said that. Write that down. Dreams give power. A vision. Do I see clearly what I want out of life? Part of the reason that people don't set clear goals is because they don't have a clear vision. So let's start with that. They don't even know what they want out of life. So they say they want to be an entrepreneur. I mean, many people come to me and say that. I want to write a book. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have $1 million. Stand in line. So I asked them, well, what kind of business do you want? I don't know. I mean, helping people. Okay, well, that could be a lot of things. Where do you want your business to be? I don't know. Somewhere in New York. Well, what barrel? What part of the barrel? I don't know. And they get defensive and angry because they feel like I am questioning their goal or their dream, but I'm not questioning it. I'm asking them about it. If you have see, there's a difference between an idea and a vision. An idea is just some vague thought. A vision is a clear picture. Write that down. A vision is a picture of what you want. Do you know what you really want? I mean, do you? Do you really know what you really want? So that's the first thing I need you to know. A vision is a picture. It's not just saying that I want, for instance, if I tell you my father's a carpenter. If I tell you, I'm laughing because I said my father's a carpenter and somebody made a reference about Jesus. And no, I'm being serious. My biological father really is a carpenter. And when he talks about he has a vision for his job, a vision for a house, the vision can't just be, I just want to build a house. No, he's very specific. The house is going to have a certain number of rooms. It's going to have a certain number of bathrooms. When you go into the bathroom, it's going to have a certain tile. It's going to have a certain height for the ceiling. There's going to be a certain backsplash. There's going to be the toilet is here and the bathtub is here and maybe there's a jacuzzi. It's specific. It's clear. You know the color of the walls. You know the color of the paint on the outside. You know the framework. You know the molding. You know where you want to put the lights. That's a vision. Many of us don't have a vision for where we want our lives to go. We don't have a vision for our business. We say we want to be an entrepreneur, which is nice, but we don't have a vision. We're not clear about what we really want to do. And can I say this with respect? Helping people is not a goal. That is a vague way that everything is helping people when you get to your purpose. One person might help someone by singing. Another person might be by constructing something for them. Someone else may be to teach them. We are all called to help people, but how we help people is going to manifest differently. So don't say you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to help people and you think you've said something specific because you really haven't. So a goal is specific. A vision is very clear. It's a very clear picture of what you want. So I'm going to write this down with you so we go from dreams to goals. So I'm writing this down with you. I love writing things down. Sometimes you don't remember what you said, or what you read, but you remember what you wrote. That's why I always tell people in the workshop. That's the first thing I do. Take notes. Take notes. All right. So now we're going from dreams to goals. Once I have a clear dream, a clear picture, now I am able to go from there and give a clear goal. A goal. Let me just get right to it. SMART. S-M-A-R-T. Write this down. S-M-A-R-T. I didn't come up with this. I've learned everything I'm teaching you in some way. I've regurgitated. I've read hundreds, perhaps thousands of books over my lifetime. I've been mentored by the best. I've been trained by the best. So I don't want you to think that what I'm coming up with and teaching you is novel. I am teaching you what I have learned, and I'm synthesizing it in a different way. So SMART goals. SMART. S, specific. M, measurable. A, action oriented. R, real time. T, time measurable. Let's go over these again. SMART, specific, measurable, action oriented, real time, time measurable. Specific, we've already covered that. Do you have a specific goal? When I do my workshop, I tell people to stop saying they want a better paying job. I had one lady who was in my workshop. She said she wanted a better paying job. I told her that was a dream, not a goal. She got angry at me. I think a cuss word or two was said in my direction, so I left it alone. A month later, she came back to me. She told me that she was angry. Again, why are you angry? She said that she got a different job. Well, hey, you wanted a different job. Why are you angry? Come to find out, she got a different job, making 25 cents more an hour. She got her better paying job. But she wasn't satisfied because she said, Daryl, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted much more than that. But you were not specific. That's the difference between a goal and a vision. That's what I was trying to tell you. And she said, I get it. Because you said you wanted a better paying job. And so you got a better paying job for a quarter more an hour. And so it was a better paying job. But you were not specific as to what you wanted. Now, let me go forward and then I'll come back a bit. We're going from from dreams to goals to strategies. I hope I'm not going too far ahead. Dreams to goals to strategies. The dream is the vision, gives power. Goal is the focus. It gives us focus. It's specific. It's measurable. It's action oriented. It's real time. It is time measurable. And then the strategy is the blueprint for how we're going to get it. Many of you are trying to go from dream to strategy. That's the problem. You're trying to create a strategy off of a dream, but you've never created a goal. It's not specific. It's not specific. We haven't even gotten to M-A-R-T. It's not even specific. When you have, if you would have told me you wanted to make 10,000 more a year, then we could have created a strategy to get you there. But because you were vague in your description of what you wanted, which was you wanted a better paying job, and we can't really, hey, you got a better paying job. So specific, be specific. In my workshop, this is what I tell people. We do an entire 2 hours just on setting one goal. Now, you might say, how can you spend that much time on one goal? I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to give it to you in 2 minutes. We spend 2 hours because I really bring out for them the difference between, thank you for putting that too, Lynette. Thank you. Somebody, Periscope, writing out for me, specific, measurable, action oriented. I hope you're writing this down. Real time, time measurable. This is what I do. Everybody starts the 2 hours with, I want a better paying job. Some are more specific. I want to be a counselor. I want to, help the community. But this is what it takes us 2 hours to get from there to by the end of the 2 hours. This is what I have people doing for their employment goal. The employment goal is I want to do blank. And I have them fill in the role that they want at blank. And I have them write down the company that they want to work for or the field they want to work in. And then I have them write down how many. So for instance, a goal would be, I want to be a counselor in the mental health field in Manhattan or the Upper East Side or the Upper West Side in New York. I want them to be specific about a location. 4 or 5 days a week, I have them say how many hours a day they want to work, how many days a week that this is specific. And then I have them say, yes, I do, how much money they want to make specifically. It takes us 2 hours because people start with, well, I want to do about 40,000. And I always ask, have you ever seen a check with the word about on it? No, it's a specific amount. So we go from this sort of vague, nebulous, wording to something specific. When you have a goal, it should be that specific. Where do you want to do it? Where do you want to do it? How much do you, I'm talking just employment. How much do you want to be making? Where do you want to be working? What company or field do you want to be in? Location. Don't just tell me a city. The city's big. New York has 10 million people. It's 5 boroughs. Give me specific as possible, because when I get as specific as possible, now I can create a strategy based on that. And it takes us 2 hours to get there. Sometimes it takes us longer for some people. But we get there. So specific. The second thing is measurable. A goal should be measurable. Some of your goals, again, not goals because they're not measurable. To say that you want to be successful. If I have 10 people in my workshop and I ask you to tell me what success is, all 10 are going to say something different. To say you want to make good money, 10 people are going to have a different idea of what good money is. And trust me, good money in California or in North Carolina ain't good money perhaps in New York. So what is good money? You have to be measurable. Measurable meaning that it is quantifiable. Measurable that's another word for it. Quantifiable. That there is no ambiguity in what it is that you're saying. So the difference between good money and $70,000 a year is that one is up for discussion. What does good money mean? But we all know what 70,000 is. The difference between saying I want to have a bigger following on Facebook and saying I want 10,000 people following me is that what does bigger mean? But we know what 10,000 is. Records, whatever we're talking about, record sales or sports or things that people are doing, it has to be quantifiable. The next thing is action oriented. A lot of your goals are not action oriented. They're not. Let's keep it real. I want to help people. What does that even mean? I want to be more successful. I want to give back to the community. I want to help somebody else be better than I was. These are not goals. These are nice aspirations. They sound good and they're powerful because they can fuel our goals, but they themselves are not goals. They have to be goals, should be action oriented. A good goal is a goal that you can actually work towards. I can't help you with, I want you to help somebody. I don't know what that means. But if you tell me that you want to be a counselor in the mental health field, the first thing I can say is, let's get your licensure so that way you can be a counselor. That I can help you with. But I can't help you with this sort of broad, I just want to pull other people up from where I came from. What does that even mean? So specific, measurable, action-oriented, real time. Real time means, you know what real time means. We're in real time right now. We're live. Goals should be in real time. They should be something that you are working toward now. Now. Hey, what's up, Mark? Mark, we were classmates at Harvard Law School. What's up, Mark? I'm seeing a couple people. People are joining and leaving and joining and leaving, and some people are staying. But I'm like seeing a couple people as I'm looking. And yeah, good to see y'all. How you doing, Mark? I still remember that class we sat in together at law school. Yeah, that was an interesting class. All right, so real time. Let me get back to it. Real time. It should be something that we can actually work toward now. What's the old saying? How do you eat an elephant? One chunk at a time. One bite at a time. I think Confucius said it. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? A single step. Some of your goals, the problem is when you have a real goal that is specific, measurable, action-oriented, real time, time measurable, you're able to split it into smaller goals so you can get there. Real time. A real goal is not something that I work for 5 years down the line. I'm working now for something I can achieve now, so that way 5 years down the line, it can be something bigger. If you tell me that a goal is something you have to wait to start on, then it's not a goal. It's a dream. Put that in. It may not even be a dream. It may just be a wish, a desire, a whim. It might be the pizza you ate last night talking, but it is not a goal. All right, let's go to real time. Time measurable. That just means deadline. Goals have deadlines. I forgot when I talked about what I do through my workshop for the 2 hours, this part of the workshop, goal setting. The goal setting part of the workshop, when I have them go through how much you want to make, where you want to do it, how many hours you want to be working, what company you want to be working for, what field you want to be in, what does it need to look like, what role are you doing specifically. The last thing that I add is by what date. It has to have a deadline. This is the thing. If your goals don't have a deadline, they're probably not goals. Why don't we like deadline? I'm going to tell you something. Goals scare people. Not necessarily dreams, but goals scare people. Because when you get to the deadline part, that people don't like that, because what happens is it now holds them accountable. I've heard people say, well, I can't really put a deadline on it because I don't know what resources I'm going to need. I don't believe in doing that. I believe in starting with the end in mind. Right now, set a deadline for what you want and then work backwards, reverse engineer to get there. But if you have this sort of idea of, well, I'll start the business when all my ducks come in a row, I'm going to tell you now from life experience, your ducks are never going to get in a row. That's how it works. It's never going to get in a row. You've got to be in the position and in the place where you are comfortable saying, I am going to set this and I'm going to make it happen. Come hell or high waters, I'm pushing toward it. Last thing, even though this isn't a part of SMART, it is written, right? Goals should be written. I read an article that said, are goals that are not written really goals? The answer was, after they went through all this, was that really, no, they're not goals. They're not goals. If they're not written. Goals should be written. True story. 1973, class of Harvard College, they asked how many people had goals. What do you think? 100% of the people said they had goals. All 100 raised their hand. The person at the lectern said, how many of you have your goals written? 5% raised their hand. 5%. Same class, 20 years later, in the 20-year reunion. True story. 1993, they came back to this same class. They were having a reunion, and they were doing a survey of them, and they had already been following their life. This is what they found. 20 years later, the 5% that raised their hand for written goals had made more collectively than the other 95% put together. True story about graduating class at Harvard. So it is true that when you write goals, it does something powerful. And I'm going to take you a step further. When I write my goals, I put it somewhere that I can see every day. I put it somewhere on the mirror. I have things written on my mirror. I have Post-its written to myself. Because what that does is it makes you accountable to say, what have I done this week, today, this month even, to get closer to my goal? Now we're not just talking about it, but when we begin to write it, also what happens is you might think you're clear on something until you write it down. Then you write it and you say, dang, wow, I really wasn't clear. I thought try going into a bank with a business plan that's in your head. No, they want something written. And I want you to know something. People say, well, it's in my head. Let me say this respectfully. A goal that is in your head is going to stay in your head. If you want it to manifest, begin to manifest in the physical world. The first way that you can do it is writing it. Because now what you're doing is taking it from the unseen realm, which is here. I can't see what's here. And bringing it into the seen realm, which is right there on paper. Now we go from dreams to goals. Strategies. I don't know where that voice came from. Dreams to goals to strategies. Some of you, the problem is that you're trying to go from here to here. You're not clear about here. You cannot create a strategy from a dream. You can only create a strategy from a goal. You can only create a strategy from a goal. There is a progression. The Bible talks about order my steps in your word. Order. There is an order to things. There is an order to things in the universe. There's an order. There is an order to go from here to manifestation. It's got to go from a dream to a goal to a strategy. Some of you, the problem is you're trying to skip the order. And so you wonder why you're still stuck. And it's because you are not in order. Go from dreams to goals. Write them down. Some of you have been watching me this whole time. You haven't written one thing down. That's a problem. Write it down. SMART. Specific. I'm going to say it one more time. Specific, measurable, action-oriented, real time measurable. And under that, it's written. So I have taken what's here and in the core of my soul, and I am writing it down. It is now a goal. And now from there, now that I know, see, this is what people say, that's an unrealistic goal. People told me it was unrealistic for me to say I was going to go to Harvard Law School. Why? They say, you don't even know a lawyer. How are you going to go to Harvard Law School? When I told people I was going to go to college, And I was living in Baltimore City. Then when I was in Virginia living in that trailer park, they said, well, you don't even, how is somebody going to pay for you to go to college? But I knew clearly what I wanted and I had it written down. And so when you know the what, the how will come. Some of you don't know the what. You haven't written down the what. That's why the how has not come. Write things down, be clear on what you want, and things have a way of shifting, so now we can create a strategy. There is no such thing as an unrealistic goal. What is unrealistic is when you do not have the clear strategy and the clear work ethic to get to it. That's unrealistic. You say you want to be a millionaire, you don't have a bank account. You want to be this great entrepreneur, and you're doing nothing toward it. That's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. So what I am showing you how to do, because there's a lot of things I've done in my life that people say is unrealistic, and they were telling me that the whole time, and yeah, time has not been kind to their predictions. Partly because I understand the order. We have gone from dreams, we have gone to goals, and now we're about to go to strategy. The strategy is the blueprint. I can only create an effective strategy from the goal. So let me go back. I was 21 years old. Actually, I was 20. I graduated from Morehouse College, valedictorian, at 21 years old. So I was 17 when I got accepted. This is going to help somebody. I want to share this with somebody. I knew that I wanted to go to law school. I didn't know Harvard, but I knew I wanted to go to law school really from the time I was 13. I knew I wanted to go to law school more than I wanted to go to college. So when I got to college, immediately the goal was to go to, and I didn't even know of course I didn't know what I know now. I had written down, I am going to go to law school directly after college. I didn't know what law school I wanted to go to. I mean, Harvard sounded nice, but even then in my mind, it's like, I mean, who goes there? So I didn't have that written down. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But at 17, 18, when I started my freshman year, I began working toward going to law school. People told me I was crazy. You're a freshman in college. You need to first focus on just passing your freshman year. I began working on the LSAT, which is the law school admissions test, freshman year. I need somebody to hear this. The heights of great men have not been achieved by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, toiled upwardly through the night. That's a quote. I didn't come up with that myself. The heights of great men have not been achieved by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, toiled upwardly through the night. I began working on the LSAT. So you know about the SATs, I'm sure, if you've been to college, because that's the college admissions test. I began, thank you for posting. Thank you for joining and posting and sharing. I appreciate that, y'all, on Periscope. I began my freshman year. People thought I was crazy. Starting to work on the LSAT, which is the test for law school admissions. Why? Because I had a clear goal and I had to have a strategy. It would have been unrealistic for me to say I want to go to law school and, directly following college if I wasn't working toward it. For me, it wasn't unrealistic because I was working towards it. I didn't start working toward it my senior year. I didn't start working toward it my junior year. I need somebody to say this. I didn't start working toward it my sophomore year. I took my first LSAT class the second semester of my freshman year. It was a 3-year process before I was accepted into Harvard Law School. My problem with so many people is they want this microwave success. My God. Hey, how you doing? Oh, Sister Joyce, how you doing? They want microwave success. We live in excuse me, y'all. I got to go on a tangent for a second. We live in a microwave, give it to me now world. My first job was McDonald's. I remember the boss pulled me aside. They were teaching me how to do the drive-thru. That was the first role I had, working in the drive-thru. They said, this is our goal. Our goal is 90 seconds from the time the customer places the order. That's when the 90 seconds starts, till the time they are rolling away with their food. So in 90 seconds, we were to have the person driving from, I'm going somewhere with this, y'all, going from placing the order, they were to go to window 1, they were supposed to pay window 1, and then go to window 2. And literally, when the process was running smoothly, as they were rolling up the window 2, they didn't even have to come to a complete stop. They could come to like a rolling stop, and we're handing out their food from window 2 and they're riding away. 90 seconds was the goal. We didn't meet that all the time, but because the goal was 90 seconds, sometimes we did it in 2 minutes. 2 minutes to have their food ready and everything ready. Thus, that's great at McDonald's is bad in life. Why? Because we have this thing that everything's going to happen like this. It's going to happen like this. People come to me and say, I want to go to law school. Okay, that's nice. Now sit down and let's start talking about the LSAT. People talk about this business idea that they had. Okay, so, and it's not working, Daryl, and I've tried everything. How long have you been working on it? I don't know. It's been a long time. Well, how long? I've been working on it for a year, and it hasn't budded. A year? And a year's a long time? Some of your problem is you don't understand the power of it takes time. I know I went on a tangent there. So the point is, the bigger the goal, the more specific you need your strategy. Record the vision, make it plain. Yes. Thank you over at Periscope. Thank you. Write the vision, make it plain. So what's happening is some of you are having a problem because you do not understand the power of big goal is going to take big strategy. So you run away and you're living smaller than what you should be living for because you don't want to do the work. And then again, it's the devil, it's haters, it's all these other things that you're pointing to is because, your childhood and things that had happened and all this other stuff that we've all perhaps gone through. But the real problem is that you have not taken the initiative to say, it's a big goal, so it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. So I don't want to give this idea that this is going to happen, overnight, and neither should it, because you wouldn't respect it. And anything that's worth anything does take time, does take effort, and it does take some self-reflection. So we've gone from dreams to goals to strategies, creating a clear blueprint. All right, so I'm gonna close with this, and then I want to answer some questions if anybody has any questions. We've talked about the difference between dreams and goals. We've talked about what SMART goals mean. We've talked about the importance of writing goals down. We've talked about how you can't skip from a dream to a strategy. That's what a lot of y'all are trying to do. And your strategy isn't even written, so you're doubly wrong. But how you got to go in that order. You've got to go from dreams to visions to strategies. We talked about that. But now I want to talk about, so what happens when life happens? One of my favorite quotes, I say this like almost every broadcast, Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan to what? They get punched in the face. Eisenhower, he was president. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. He was also the general that led the D-Day invasion, largest land invasion, sea invasion of all time. This is what he said. He said, plans in war mean nothing, but plans are indispensable in war. So what does he mean? It sounds like he's contradicting himself. What he's saying is you got to have a plan. The plan's going to change. When the fight happens, when the war happens, when life happens, things will change, things will shift. Part of what people say in my workshop is, well, Daryl, I don't want to do all this because I want to be flexible. Flexible does not mean you don't have a plan. That means you're foolish if you don't have a plan. That's the other F word. You should have a plan. I am not saying that you don't shift. You should shift. Many times when I have a goal and then I've written down the strategies, it rarely happens the way that I want it to. I'm going to just be honest. It rarely even in these 8 months, there was a period I wanted to immediately get this apartment, and it took a little bit longer. It took a little bit of shifting. Even with my consulting and getting my speaking back off the ground and getting back into workshops, there were things that did not go as planned. Life rarely goes according to plan. And I don't want to give that perception. Life rarely goes according to plan. But this is the thing. When you have a plan, you're more prepared and you can shift. It's almost like me saying, well, I know the traffic might be bad, so I don't want to plan this road trip and have a route set out. That's crazy. Yeah, there might be some detours you have to take. There might be some traffic. There might be somebody in the car that needs to use the bathroom, so we got to, go to the rest stop. There might be inclement weather, but I still have to have a clear plan for where I'm going. There has to be a blueprint. So I'm not teaching against being flexible, being able to shift, being able to move and change things, but I am saying you should have something planned. Will Smith said, don't have a plan B. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that over on Facebook. Not having a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yes. And I know people always say that. Will Smith said, don't have a plan B because what? It distracts from your plan A. That's another thing people say. Well, I got to have something to fall back on. Well, yeah, having a clear plan, a clear goal doesn't mean that you are not flexible to other options. But I do believe that when people have more than one plan in place, they're probably not clear about the plan that they really want. So I can't tell you how many people come in my workshop. Well, I want to be a counselor, or I want to be a professor, or I want to get my business off the ground. But also, I want to work toward being a construction worker, and maybe I'll do janitorial work. So I'm not saying that you don't do janitorial work. I'm not saying that you don't do that to have consistent cash flow. But what I am saying is, when you have these two divergent plans, and they're two totally opposite plans, my question is, which one are you really committed to? Probably neither. Probably neither. Okay, so you want to be a healthcare admission at Good Samaritan Rehab? Yes. All right, so thank you for telling me that. Now, Lynette, what I want you, so you're already doing this. What I want you to do now is, I want you to write how much you want to be making, and maybe I missed it on the screen. Tell me what city and state you want to be doing this in. And I want you to tell me how much you want to be making. Some reason, some of us have a problem with this. And can I just talk real talk for a second? Christians really have a problem with this. And I don't really understand why we have a problem with saying what we want and asking what we want. We have not, because we ask not. Yes. And because the scripture goes further, we ask for the wrong things. Sometimes God will birth a heart in our lives, a desire in our heart, personally, because he wants to use it strategically. Remember that. God will sometimes birth something in your heart personally, so God can use it strategically. So there's nothing wrong with being very clear and very direct. This is what I want. This is what I want. And I am committed to working toward it. Now, maybe you will shift. Maybe things will change. Another thing I want to say about this, goals, dreams, goals, strategies. When we talk about strategies, we have to talk about investing in yourself. My last broadcast, we talked about the difference between investing in yourself and treating yourself. I'm not going to get into that now. Please look back at that, because there is a difference. Some of you think you're investing in yourself, and you're not. You're treating yourself, which is good, and that's fine, and that has its place. I think it's good to treat yourself. You should treat yourself. But you should know the difference between buying a new car and putting money to get some classes or some training, so that way you can get to the next level. There is a difference. There is a difference. One is going to make you money. One is going to cost you money and keep costing you money. They both might cost you money in the beginning, but one is an investment, so that way you can make more in the future, or you can develop more in the future. The other thing that I want to say about goals, dreams, and strategies is that I don't like, and I think I'll close on this point, I don't like when people talk about long-term goals. Actually, in my workshop, we don't even deal with that. And when I counsel people, I don't even deal with that. Why? Because when people start talking about long-term goals, they get real funny and they go into fantasy land. They really do. I don't think the mind can really wrap itself around 2, 3, 4 years later. Now, you can have a vision. I don't know how specific your goal can be, but maybe you can. Some people are gifted like that. But most of us, and I'm going to say us here, are not. We really are not. We think we are, but we're not. Why am I saying that? For instance, the workshop I ran last week, I had people write down, what do you want to have by the end of the year? So I said, well, that's not enough time. That's why I want to talk about that. Because we know what's going to happen at the end of the year. And somebody said, well, wait a minute, it's only 2.5 months left. Yes. See, when we start talking 2.5 years down the road, then we start saying things like, I want a mansion, and I want $1 million, and I want this great business, and you're not working anywhere toward it. It's nothing wrong with those things, but you're not working anywhere toward it. And so it does me no good, and it does you no good to even talk about that. Let's talk about what you're doing in the next 2 months. Let's not talk about what you're going to start in the new year. Let's talk about what you're going to finish in the present year. Because that's the problem. So many people are waiting to start. Well, I'm waiting to January. Wait, like my mother would always tell me, broke the wagon. So I don't like long-term goals, because a lot of times they're not long-term goals. They're long-term fantasies. And year after year after year after year has gone by, and we've done nothing about it. So what I tell people is, stop talking about you're going to go to law school 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Let's apply to take the test first. Let's start with that. Take the LSAT. Let's start with that. Let's start with that goal. Let's start with the goal of maybe taking a class that's going to help you do better with the LSAT. If you know that you want to have this best-selling book, let's start with, by the end of the year, you having 200 pages of that book written. Let's start there. Because when we are able to, I deal in 1 month goals. I deal in 2 month goals. At most, I might do 6 months. That's as far as I'm going to go, because I need people to be able to wrap their mind around what they're doing. See, this is why these workshops for many people have not been helpful, because they're dealing in fantasy. And so they say things they're not working toward, and they talk about things that they really don't think they can even get. You know, you're talking about you want $1 million, and perhaps I'm not saying you can't get there, but right now you don't even have a job. So you don't even know how $1 million would look. Most of you don't know that it takes $86,000 a month to make $1 million in a year. You can thank me later for that. You didn't even know that. You didn't even know that. The first thing I tell people when they throw out so the first 2 hours when I do the goal setting workshop, when it takes us to get to the goal, after we break for lunch and we come back, we spend another 2 hours talking about, okay, now how realistic is this for you? Realistic is not an objective term. It's subjective for what you're working toward. So now you've thrown out, we had one guy who said, I want to be in the record A&R business and I want to make $90,000 by the end of the year. Okay, that's cute. And he was very specific. It took us 2 hours to get there. And he A&R business, I think he said he wanted to work at Sony. He wanted to make $90,000 a year. He wanted to work full time. So we got there. Then we broke for lunch, and then we came back after the lunch break. And the first thing I asked him was, if you make $90,000 a year, how much money is taken out in taxes? He told me 8.5%. Somebody else in the class spoke up and said, no, I think it's 9%. I said, that's sales tax, that's not income tax. You don't even know what 90,000 looks like. So for you, it's not helpful for us to talk about that, because right now it's not really in your mind. And you've already defeated yourself in your mind. So to speak scripture on it and to get super religious like people do and not have worked out in your own heart that you can actually do it is going to do us no good. So many of you have these salary goals and you don't even know what that's going to look like on a check. After I told him to step away from the classroom and go to his phone, and I needed him to come back and tell me how much taxes would be, he came back with a sad face and he told me how much taxes would be, and I told him to go back out because that's federal tax. You didn't even talk about state and local tax. By the time he came back, he told me he didn't think 90,000 was going to be enough. I said, well, okay, so I need you to at least see what that looks like. Then I told him to excuse himself from the class again because I needed him to be able to tell me, if you're making 90,000 a year, how much does that look like on every check? If you're making $90,000 a year, how much does that split into 26? Because 26, remember, is 52 weeks in a year. 26, most people get paid bi-weekly. So what does that look like on every check? He spent more of the class outside the workshop room than inside because I kept having him going out and because I need him to understand, let's not just talk about fantasy stuff. What does it look like? What does this look like for you? So many of you have not, I cannot stress to you, and that's why I wanted to be honest with you. At 18, my freshman year, I did not see myself going to Harvard Law School. I didn't, because I knew I could go to law school. I didn't know anybody at Harvard. That was like a land that that's where presidents and moguls go. That's what I see on the movies. But what happened was, as I began to take the LSAT and was study for the LSAT, and it was a whole period of a year, sophomore year, into my freshman year, whole sophomore year, where I didn't even take the test. I'm just practicing. I'm not going to say I practiced every day. I didn't. When you start that early, you don't have to. I practiced like 2 to 3 times a week. And the more I began to practice, and then I began going to conferences. I remember I went to a conference at the Kennedy School of Government, which is Harvard School for Public Policy. I went there and I realized, I hope my phone isn't dying, so I got to get off here quick. I went there and I realized wait a minute, I can go here. These people are just like me. See, I didn't recognize that before. They're funny. I thought people that they were so high-minded. They weren't. They were funny. They would laugh. Well, this wasn't the law school, but I began to get closer. So it was about my junior year that I began to realize I can go to Harvard. Yeah, that's not out of the range of possibilities. Somebody's going there. Why can't I? So I'm telling you that to say, when you begin to work, that's part of many of your problem. You're not working toward it. And so it's still a fantasy. As you work towards something, what's going to happen is it's going to build the confidence in you. And then God is going to give you, Oprah said that God can dream bigger dreams for you than you ever can. And I love that, because as you begin to work, then God is going to birth something bigger in you. And you're going to realize, now I was shooting low. And so that's why I tell people, start working now. Start going toward it now. Know what that, if you, I keep going back to money because that's what a lot of people, be getting. This is the salary I want. What does that look like on a check right now? Begin working toward the classes, the licenses you need, the things you need right now. And as you're doing that, that momentum is going to push you to realize, hey, what I thought a year ago was unrealistic really isn't so unrealistic. So by the time I applied to Harvard, I was fully convinced that I could get in. I really was, because I had visited. By happenstance, it's not the law school, but the public policy school. I had been around. By this point, I had some people on my Facebook who had been going there, and I'm laughing and joking with them. I had a mentor who went to the law school, and I just realized it really wasn't outside of the range of possibilities. Many of you are not. You're working towards something that you don't even think you can get, and part of it is because you're not working towards it. So I'm going to close there because my phone is dying. Y'all have been wonderful sticking with me. I am going to begin, before I roll out my online classes, because they're rolling out at the end of this month. I realize I've used my online platforms to do a lot of personal stuff, but I don't think I've done as well, particularly this year, at showing you tangibly what I'm doing. I'm not out here just clicking my thumbs, working a 9 to 5. I am counseling people from all walks of life on how to get from here to there, how to get from dream to manifestation, how to goal set, how to get into the career of your choice. And I'm going to talk about that in another broadcast, how you can get into a career where you're getting paid to do something you love to do. How you can begin to develop yourself professionally, how you can begin to get the salary that you want and the checks that you want, how you can begin to market your book. Where is it? I don't even see my book. It's somewhere around here. I thought I had it. So, right here. I didn't even show you some of my other books and manuals, and I'm going to show you some of these things. How to get published. Some of you have been talking about a book so long, you have wearied everybody in your friend circle, and I need you to stop talking about it. I need you to do it. I have a proven plan. Even when this is the funny thing, even in prison, I had COs, I had people who were in the leadership who would pull me aside that would say, Daryl, I'm trying to go to law school. Don't tell anybody about this. Tell me what to do. I'm being honest. I had people who would say, I'm talking about people in positions of power. They would pull me. One, it was a lieutenant, pulled me out of the cell. They thought, the other people thought I was in trouble. There's a whole group of guards that came with her. She isolated, said, stand outside. All the guards were standing outside. She came in, which is already odd because, that the man wanted, but anyway, she came in and she was like, I need you to show me how I can get what you have. So I have the story of Joseph. I have been favored even in dark places. I need you to understand that. So what I'm telling you is what I have lived and what I know, and now what I'm teaching other people to do. I'll take one question before my phone dies. Is there a question either from Facebook or from Periscope? I will take a question. Hey, what's up, Alicia? Good to see you. We also went to Harvard together. Ryan, we went to high school together. I know it's a lot of the people that, yeah. Okay, so I'm getting the question over here is, what do you do when the dream doesn't work? And I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but let me answer it like this. I always talk about come back swinging. I need you to understand something. Some of you are not where you want to be because you don't have the persistence, chutzpah, doggedness, tenaciousness, persistence, the ability to fight back. Life is rarely just going to hand you what you want. In fact, I believe God will rarely hand you what you want. He will give the opportunity. He'll give you the opportunity. He'll give you, and somebody needs to hear this because people get super spiritual, super religious, and I'm waiting on the Lord to drop down a blessing. But I need you to understand that you aren't waiting on God. God is waiting on you because he has given you the opportunity. He's giving you the gifts. He's giving you the wisdom. He's giving you the dream. He's giving you the vision. And now he's waiting on you to take a step with what he's given you. So part of the thing that when dreams, and there's a myriad of reasons for why dreams might not be, why things might not manifest the way we want. But some of it is because, and I can't, people say, is there racism? Yes. Is there misogyny? Yes. Are there circumstances we can't control? Absolutely. But I don't like to talk about a lot of those things because let's talk about what we can control. Because there'll always be something we can't control, but there'll always be something we can. So what I want people to do is give yourself at least 6 months of consistently trying something. The book Outliers. I love that book. Malcolm Gladwell. Read it. You know, I always refer to books because books are powerful. If you change the way people read, you'll change the way they think. It takes about 10,000 hours to master something. Many of you have been working on something for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours and you've given up on it, but you haven't even really, I know people that are like that. They were a barber. They did that for a few years, and then they decided that they wanted to shift their career. So they've gone into customer service, and they worked their way up after a few years to shift manager. But they really don't like it. And they don't like the hours. So they said that God maybe told them to go to school. So they go to school, and they don't really know what kind of classes they're taking. They're taking business classes, and now they want to start their own business. And they've go and work for a friend for a while. That doesn't work, so they go back to barbering. They never stuck with anything long enough for it to work. And so what happens is you're right here, the ground is here, the seed is here, it's just about to break through, but every time it's about to break through, you say you can't do it, and you go to the next thing, not realizing that you were always right at your moment of breakthrough. So what I need people to do is have a doggedness and a tenaciousness, a chutzpah, I love that word, a chutzpah to say, I am not going to quit. Now, some things you should quit. I'll talk about that in another broadcast. Some things, and I wish I had told myself this a couple years ago, some things you need to quit. That's a whole nother topic. But when I say quit, maybe you just need to shift because you're not doing it in the right way. But when you have something that you know, you have a responsibility to really go toward that. Okay. Last thing I want to say, and then this really is the last thing. I don't like when people a lot of times talk about this because they make it seem like, well, if I work hard and I set goals and if I speak to it, then it's just going to happen. My life is the result of the favor of God. I am blessed. And I do not say that to be prideful, but I am blessed. There is a reason why, even coming out, I have more things now than I ever had before because I am blessed. I am blessed by the best. Blessed does not mean that I don't go through adversity. Blessed means that I come back resilient. Blessed doesn't mean that I didn't have struggles in my life and I didn't doing things in my life that I should have and I didn't have sin in my life. What blessed means is that I come back swinging. There will be troubles, Jesus said, but I have come. Take heart. I have come that you might overcome the world. And so I have a fighter spirit that God has put on the inside of me, and he has favored me, and I am blessed. And I believe that when I walk in the room, people like me. They like me because of whose I am, not because of who I am. They like me because I have the image and the likeness of God. They like me because I am made in the same stuff this is what you need to understand. The same thing that's in the raindrop is the same thing that's in the ocean. And I was made in the image of the creator of heaven and earth. And I believe that. And I believe that I'm blessed. And I believe that I'm favored. And I believe that people are looking to give me opportunities. And I believe that I was going to come out of my situation and my circumstance better. And because I believe that, I have been able to, with faith, access what God has for me. Some of you are not where you want to be, and that's a whole nother broadcast, and I don't even want to get too much into that now. It's because God has extended it by grace, but it takes faith for you to access it. That's why it talks about salvation being given by grace, but yet we access it by faith, because faith is my active conduit to get what God has for me. The power company is not going to come and turn on my light switch. The power company is going to allow me to have access to power, but then it takes me actually turning turning on my light switch on this side. God has extended grace. He's extended blessings. He's extended you a gift. You have a gift you don't even know you have. It's so powerful. It's so transformative. But you're looking at everybody else. And if I had that, and if I did this, and if I had that, and I need you to understand that God has extended you things, but you haven't even grabbed it. And so I'm blessed because I understand that God has given me a brilliant mind. I don't say this to I have a brilliant mind. My memory's better now than when I was 20 years old, which is crazy. I'm smarter now than I was 3 years ago. I'm a better speaker now than I was last year, than I was 10 years ago. And that's because I recognize my gifts. I'm not any more gifted than you. I recognize my gifts, and as I recognize them, I walk in them. I think the next broadcast that we're going to do a whole broadcast. Hey, what's up, Mikey? Mikey and I were on the inside together. Yep. We out here now, though. My next broadcast, I think, is going to be about, because this is also what I do in another segment of my workshop, because these are week-long, actually it's a month-long. I went from teaching a week-long workshop to now a month-long workshop. And we're going to talk about how to find your purpose, strengths, skills, passions. How do you get to your purpose? You're in a place that you shouldn't be because you don't know how to align your strengths, skills, and passions. And I want to show you how to get there because you are working somewhere you should not be. All right, let me get off because if not, I'll be on here all night. Love y'all. Thank you for joining me. Please share this. People need this. Share this to a friend that you get, and maybe do it subtly. Say, you know what I think you need to do? This is to the friend that keep talking about something and they have taken no steps toward it. Share this for them. This is for the friend that keeps saying they're going to do something and year after year goes by and they're no closer to it. Pass this to them. I won't say you said nothing about it, but share this. People need this. People need this. How to get unstuck. All right. Talk to you later. And remember, I'm on all platforms. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Periscope. I'm on YouTube. I'm in New York. We live. We doing it. We out here. Love y'all. Talk to you later.